Hi, welcome to the Shelley Studio. Today I am doing Art Joy of Sharing's challenge of ATC a day for June, and this is days 1, 2, and 3. Now, for my cards, I decided this year I would use my prompt dice that I made a long time ago and have that determine what I do. Like, how do I put that? So the first one was white marker or pen. So I used a white paint pen and just drew some leaves on there. And then the next one was cut a shape or a word in your piece. And so I am drawing the word piece on the backwards so that I can cut it out, hopefully, with an X-Acto knife. So I'm just darkening the lines to make sure I do it without messing up. And I'll start the cut, but I don't show you very much of that because it did take a while to cut that and not mess it up. So there you can see it with the white. I decided that I couldn't see the leaves very well because the background had a lot of patterns, so I'm just going over with more of that paint marker just to help it. Okay, so the next one was use something from recycling, and all of my ATCs, well, all but a few, are actually the Kleenex boxes. Don't you love the patterns on the Kleenex boxes? I've always wanted to do something with them, so I decided I would cut them into ATC size, and that is what I'm going to use. I didn't have quite enough, so I do have a couple that are just some scraps of scrapbook paper cardstock thick. And yeah, so that's what I'm going to use for all of my ATCs. And I was trying to outline the word with the black marker, but it wasn't really showing very much. But all of my cards are fairly simple this time. So I'm adding a little bit of white acrylic ink again to those leaves just to, I really want them to stand out. Then I decided to do a little bit of white paint around the edges with the paint marker, that is. Sorry, my bad habit of going right off the screen. Okay, so the ATC backing cards I got from Art Joy of Sharing's Facebook group. They have files and it's in there, so if you're in the group, that's where you can find those. And I'm just gluing that on, and then you can see piece better that way. So that was day 1, and here is day 2. I decided to shuffle up my little cards so that it would be truly random, and take the one off the top, and there it is. So the first prompt is draw a face. So it's the Kleenex boxes are slick, so they need a little bit of traction for drawing and stuff. So that was some just some white gesso done really thinly so that everything had something to grip. And instead of drawing, I decided to use my Jane Davenport's face construction stamp system. I thought it would be better. I could pick the eyes and the mouth and the nose, and then it will look like a cute girl. So I decided to paint her skin just so she stands out from the background. And I think this is one of the longer ATCs just because I do end up painting her face, and it would have been better if I had painted her before I stamped in the eyes, nose, and mouth, but you know, you work around it, I guess. So now that I've done all that, I'm going to take a little bit of pen and kind of clean up the lines a little bit. The parts that I covered with paint. So the next prompt from the prompt dice was add a flower. So I decided to put a flower on her forehead. And I'm just using the paint markers that I have. And I end up going around it with a marker just to make it stand out a little bit more. And don't worry, eventually I'll put a headband on her and it'll, that one's dry. I was trying to do hair. Eventually I'll put a headband on her so she doesn't look like she's got a pink tattoo on her forehead. My next prompt just said glue something down, so I had a random bright orange scrap of paper here, so I just decided I'm going to tear off a section and glue that down. So I just take my Fude ball pen and create sort of a black lacy looking headband to hold that flower on. And debated gluing more of that on and decided against it. So that was day number 2. So now we are in day number 3. And again, picking a random card. And the first prompt is add texture. I have these, I think it's glass bead gel from Walmart, and I've never really used them, so I figured I would just stick some on here and get started that way. So the next prompt says journal your thoughts. So I've got some rice paper and I'm taking that food ball pen and just scribbling random thoughts. I don't even remember what they said. There's happiness there. Yeah, no idea. But it was just, I decided I would just do it for texture. So I did hit that with the heat tool to hopefully set it so it won't bleed when I collage this down with some matte medium. Oh, and now look, I'm doing something without a prompt. I wanted some brightness, so I thought I'd add some neon yellow. And then I decide to add drips of neon yellow. And, not sure how I feel about it. On this card, I do like the writing on the rice paper and then collaging that down, because there is that little transparency. So I really like that part of this card, but yeah, I'm not sure about the rest. Oh, and I had another add a flower prompt. So, or was it add a doodle? It was add a doodle. So of course I drew a flower because that's what I doodle. And I scribbled over it multiple times to make it more doodly. And we're going to collage that on. That's also on rice paper. That's the last thing I do on this one. So that was day number 3. And yeah, it's been pretty fun. It's a really fun challenge. If you haven't done it, you should check it out. Also, I will be posting them every day on my Instagram. If you're interested in checking that out, it is in the link below. And thank you all for watching.